Hey, y'all. Shane Sams here, the host of the Flipped Lifestyle Podcast. Super excited to be back with you again today to help you start, build, grow, and scale your own online business. And I'm going to do that by talking to a member of the Flipped Lifestyle community today, giving them a one-on-one coaching call and letting you listen in so that you can get some tips, tactics, and strategies to help you change your family's future as well. My guest today is another Kentucky boy. His name's Adam Sears, and he has created an amazing membership product called Silver Spaces. His goal is to help moms and dads and grandparents stay in their home, age in place a few years longer, not have to go into a nursing home so that they can have a healthy, happier end of life situation. And Adam does that through an amazing tool that he has created to help people make modifications to their home. And it has a lot of potential, guys. This is a great interview and discussion about what's possible in online business, the tools that you can create in your memberships, and also marketing memberships to different segments or different audiences. Adam's product has a ton of potential in the consumer space where he's selling it to individual people. It's got a business to business element where he can get home professionals to join his membership to be able to have access to these tools that he has created. And not only that, we think there is a business in a box element to this where he can actually create a certification program. So we're going to talk about a lot of different things, cover a lot of ground in today's podcast. We're going to have a great discussion at the end about marketing and how you can get your language to actually talk to your customer. And I know this discussion is going to help everybody out there succeed on a higher level. So grab a cup of coffee. If you're in your car right now, turn that bad boy up, or maybe you're on a treadmill walking around. Thank you so much for listening. I hope we keep you company for the next 45 minutes to an hour. I know you're going to learn a lot, so enjoy the show. Welcome to the Flipped Lifestyle Podcast, where life always comes before work. We're your hosts, Shane and Jocelyn Sams. We're a real family that figured out how to make our entire living online. And now we help other families do the same. Are you ready to flip your life? All right, let's get started. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Flip Lifestyle Podcast. It is great to be back with you again today. Super excited to talk to another amazing, awesome, incredible member of the Flip Lifestyle community. And I'm going to help them take their online dream to the next level over the next hour or so. And you get to listen in so that you can take your online dream to the next level as well. And I'm excited today to welcome to the Flip Lifestyle Podcast, Adam Sears. What's up, Adam? How you doing, man?
Hi, Shane. I'm doing great. Thank you for having me today. It's great to be here with you.
Now I gotta give the shout out here. Got to give the shout out because anybody watching the video in the Flip Lifestyle Community Facebook group or the YouTube channel, you're seeing the big glowing Kentucky thing hanging on my wall back here. I got another Kentuckian in the house today, man. Coming all the way. You got two Kentucky boys that are going to geek out here. We're both living in Kentucky right now, man. So I'm always pumped when I get somebody else from the bluegrass on the show, dude.
And that's not bourbon in that cup, right? Not yet.
It's coffee. It's coffee. Okay. We're recording. It's 11 o'clock, man. It ain't noon yet, man. It's 5 o'clock somewhere, but not here. But I'm not going to say I don't have a nice Woodford Reserve at an occasional Kentucky football game. You know what I mean?
The double oaked.
That's right, baby. You got to get the double oaked. You got to have the double oaked, man. You know what I'm saying? All right. This is not a bourbon show. We're not cigar aficionados either. We're going to talk about online business, man. So tell everybody about your background, man. Tell us about you. Tell us about your background. Tell us about what you're doing online, but primarily what led you up to this point in your life. What have you been doing the last few years?
Sure. My name is Adam Sears. I live in Shelbyville, Kentucky, about an hour and a half up the road from Shane and Jocelyn. I am a husband. My wife, Danielle, she's a registered nurse, and we're the proud parents of two beautiful children, a 7-year-old son and a 3-year-old daughter. And, I've run my own business for the last 7 years, my own construction consulting business. I started in the geotechnical world doing materials testing and inspection. My education and background is in geology. I got a geology degree at Western Kentucky University. Go Hilltoppers.
Go Hilltoppers. I'm not allowed to say that though, because I used to coach at Eastern Kentucky. I was a football coach there, and I will say though, My worst defeat ever was at Western Kentucky. We got beat on a last second field goal, man, and it was the most gut wrenching. We had the game won. Our punter threw it over the guy's head. It went 100 yards back. They recovered, kicked a field goal, and beat us.
Oh wow! Oh wow!
So go Hilltoppers, I guess.
Well,
Whatever,
what year was that? I'm wondering. What year was it?
I don't know, dude. I can't remember. It was I think it was the last year Western was 1AA.
Okay.
So whatever year that was, it was the last game we ever played them as two 1AA schools.
I went there as a walk-on for the football team in '97.
No, it was after that. It was 2000s. Yeah, man.
Dating myself. So that would have been my last year. That would have been my senior year had I stuck with the football team. But I found that Division I football was more of a job than a sport. So
yeah, and they hit really hard. That hurts.
Sure too.
Yeah, it's like, why am I still doing this as a grown man?
I loved hitting. That I'm a defensive guy like yourself.
Right,
I was a defensive back, but then they tried to move me to will linebacker, and that wasn't going to work out. So
anyway, gotta cover some people. Will, you know what I'm saying? So you're in the materials business. You got the geology degree, and
geology degree. I got into construction materials testing and inspection. Worked for a company in Denver, Colorado. Was out there for 9 years. That's where I actually met my wife. And then in 2013, we decided we were going to move back to Kentucky to be close to my parents and start our family. So we did that. We moved back here. The company I was working for in Denver actually said, well, just open a regional office for us. So I came back to Kentucky. I opened an office for them. A couple years into it, they decided to close all their out-of-state offices. So they came to me and said, well, are you interested in buying the book of business from us? Oh. And so I did that. That was my opportunity. I always knew I wanted to work for myself. So when they presented me with that opportunity, I had to jump at it. So I bought the business from my old company and started my own business called Osbuyer. And I stayed with the construction materials testing and inspection work and geotechnical investigations. So going out with drill rigs, checking soils, pre-construction. But when I took it over as my own business, I realized I can do whatever I want now that's my business. So at the time, my wife was working as a critical care nurse for Frazier Rehab in Louisville, which is one of the preeminent hospitals in the country for spinal cord injury and traumatic brain injury. So she was seeing patients that would come in with these really catastrophic situations. And they realized, okay, after 3 months of rehabilitation, dad's going to have to come home in a wheelchair. So we have to do something to our house. And they had nowhere to turn. They had no idea really even where to start. So that kind of got the wheels turning in my head about, I could use my construction knowledge to really help people. Because I've worked in construction since I was 15 years old, framing houses, building decks. Every summer when I wasn't playing football, I was out working in construction. So I thought, okay, I can fill a need there. So that got me thinking. At the same time, my grandmother was starting to have some health issues and end of life challenges. And we had to start making some modifications to her house. Bringing the washer and dryer up from the basement, some things just to make it safer so she wasn't going up and down steps. And at the same time, the National Home Builders Association, which I was a member of with my consulting business, was offering a course called the CAPS course, which is a certified aging in place specialist. So with all these things going on, I decided I'd go ahead and get that CAPS course and become CAPS certified. And after I did that, it really opened my eyes to the need in our society to help people age in their home and stay in their home as they age. In addition to working on accessibility issues, for what my wife was seeing at her work. So I thought, okay, I'll develop a solution so that I can take my service business and just start sending my technicians, instead of going to inspect steel or test concrete, they can go to someone's house and they can run through a form that I develop and just look for the things that you look for while you're doing a home assessment, and just have it automatically generate recommendations. I was used to working with Excel and writing the logic, to generate a result. If you input data over here, it generates a result over here. So I thought, I can use my knowledge of Excel to create a form that will automatically generate a report that you can hand over to somebody, and it would give them something of value that they could take to a contractor and say, these are the things that have been recommended to me. So
that's incredible. So basically, it's like a home inspector that comes in and inspects a home for the house, but instead of approving that someone can buy a house, they make recommendations like, oh, well, that bathtub needs to be replaced with one that opens a door. And you need a rail right here. I know it doesn't look like you need a rail right here, but you really need a rail right here, right?
That's right.
That's amazing, because you're thinking through all the things that could go wrong for mom, dad, grandma, grandpa, to keep them from falling, to keep them from breaking the hip. And instead of nursing home at 80, they go nursing home at 90, basically.
Yes.
Wow. That's cool. What a mission, dude. I love your domain name is silverspaces.com.
Silverspaces.com.
That's a great domain name, dude. How did you pay for that? Or
let me tell you about how it came to be Silver Spaces. So I had developed the form in Excel, and Shane, I never got the confidence and the courage to start sending my guys, or even me going into the field myself, into strangers' homes and starting to do that. I was used to working with contractors and other professionals that, I would send an invoice and I know within 30 days I'm going to get paid. And so I never really just got out and sent my guys out to do these inspections themselves. So the form was just kind of sitting there. So I was with my group of friends that we talked about earlier, kind of my mastermind, and just started telling these guys, hey, this is what I want to do. I'd love to see this go somewhere. And when one of those guys owned a media marketing company that did website development, things like that. And he said, give me that form. I'll take it and we'll turn it into a website for you. We'll write the code and put everything in there. So it has the recommendation engine, as we call it. So that's all built in. And of course, that writing that level of code was beyond my knowledge. So I thought, okay, give me a price. So they gave me a contract. I sat on it for a while and thought, all right, how am I going to come up with this money? But I executed the contract, and a week later, it wasn't a week after I signed that contract, that I'm searching online and I find this app called Silver Spaces. And I'm like, oh, I gotta download this app, because the way it was advertised, it seemed very similar to what I was trying to do. So I tried to download the app and I couldn't get it. It was unavailable on the Apple. It was only built for the Apple platform, but I couldn't get it. I could go to the website and see that it was there. So I just reached out to the owner, who's Dr. Jill Berkey. She's now my partner. But at the time, I just called her up and said, hey, my name's Adam Sears. I'm trying to generate my own home assessment. I would love to see this app, but I can't get it. And she said, well, when Apple updated to the new iOS, you have to update your code for your app, right? An app is built specifically for a device. So you have to update your code. Well, she wasn't generating enough revenue to really justify the cost that it was going to take to update the code for the app. So Apple took it off the platform. Apple took it down.
Gotcha.
So she was kind of stuck there, trying to figure out if she wanted to spend more money to redevelop the app. So it was a perfect timing and opportunity for me to step in and say, hey, look what I'm trying to do. I'm going to develop a website, not an application for Android or Apple, but I'm going to develop a website that can be used on any device, anywhere that you have internet connectivity. You can jump on and run the assessment. So she sent me, she had an iPhone that still had the app on it. She mailed it to me so that I could see her app.
That's great. She actually mailed you an old iPhone and said, here, look at this one. It still works.
Yes, absolutely. So I ran through it, and what she had was a great checklist. Her name's Dr. Jill Berkey. She's a retired chiropractor, and she retired and started a home transition business, which helps people transition into managed care out of their home, do estate sales and things like that. So she had a good checklist, but it didn't have the recommendation engine, that other piece that I thought was really vital, which was the report that gave you ideas and recommendations. So she flew, she's in Davenport, Iowa. She flew to Louisville. We met with our developers in Bowling Green, and we all got on the same page. Now, it took a while to take her 300 question assessment and my 200 question assessment. And we had to really pull back and forth and struggle with each other to figure out what were the most vital questions that we could ask in a house, because we knew people would get exhausted trying to answer 300 questions. It was just too much.
Yeah.
So we really had to whittle the assessment down to the most vital elements for aging in place. As far as we saw it, we're both certified aging in place specialists. So after that back and forth, we finally whittled it down to about 110 questions. We look at 12 primary areas in and around the home, and we just look at the home. There's a lot of elements to aging in place safely beyond just the structure or the residence that you're living in.
Sure.
There's how does that person fit in that home, right?
Yeah.
What is your mental health?
What's your feng shui, man? You got to get the feng shui down. You know what I'm saying? How you move around the house? What's the flow?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We got to get the feng shui going. I think that's the right word. That might be the wrong word, but it sounds cool. So feng shui.
No,
it's flow around the house, man. You know what I'm saying? You got to figure it out, right?
So we don't look at all of those. Eventually, that's where we want to take Silver Spaces, is that we give you a complete picture of your aging in place viability, so to speak. So right now, we're just with this first version, we're just looking at the structure. We're just looking at the home. And again, we're excited about what we've got, but again, I kind of stumbled into this online business thing, Shane.
That's okay, man. Hey, listen, I love people that put themselves in the right place to be at the right place at the right time. Like, it ain't about luck, y'all. Like, do you hear what's happening here? Adam's calling people randomly, app developers. They're meeting for lunch, and they're doing things like that just for a chance at success. And like, that's what it takes. That really is what it takes. All right. So let me ask you a couple questions, follow up here. Okay.
Okay.
You're currently selling, I have a feeling this is going to fork into some weird directions. So whatever I say going forward, this is going to be crazy idea, Shane. Okay. Based on my massive experience of seeing thousands of these memberships, right?
Okay.
So I got a feeling there's going to be some mud thrown on the wall in a minute, and you might freak out. So don't freak out. You ain't got to do nothing. I tell you, I'm just trying to give you some, wisdom, right? I'm just trying to share. All right. We're currently selling access to this assessment for single use, $8.99 assessment. Do you have sales?
Yes.
Okay. A lot of sales, little sales, cool sales,
little
good sales, little sales.
On the $8.99. There's been about 80 something people that have run single assessments.
Great. If you find one, you can find 101. That's what I always say. So I would say that I don't understand why something like that with that much development behind it is only $8.99, because it's a one-use product, right? Like for most people, like if my dad's 79 years old, God bless him, he's getting along good, great, but 5 years down the road, I'm going to need to figure out what his house looks like. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I'm only going to do that one time. Right. So that is something I see immediately. And then you see a subscription service for unlimited reports is $78 a month. So tell me more about that. Is that like so tell me more about that first. What is that?
Okay. So here was the thinking, the single use, right? We developed this assessment so that anyone could use it. I developed it so that my mom and dad, my aunts and uncles, they could run it on their own home. So we used very common nomenclature. We didn't, we try to make it in layman's terms that anyone can understand. So that's kind of where we started, but we realized very quickly that professionals could also benefit from using this assessment. So there's people that are going into homes on a daily basis, occupational therapists, physical therapists, home health nurses, realtors, remodeling contractors. There's people that are going into the homes all the time and looking at the situation, and they don't necessarily have anything that's designed to guide them through the home.
Like if I got an 80-year-old person wants to buy a house and I'm a realtor, it would be awesome have something like this.
That's right.
So I could walk them through and be like, hey, I ran a home assessment for you. You could change this. We could do this. You need to get this house. We can fix this up. Even though it's not made for you right now, I've got a plan that I'm going to give to you as a friend.
That's right.
They just run it through the home assessment, basically.
Well, yeah, from a realtor's perspective, not even 80. I mean, I'm thinking that 50 and up market, people that are looking to buy that last home that they're going to place for the rest of their life.
That's right.
And if they've got 3 homes they want to narrow down, I think it's a great way to go, hey, let's run these assessments on each of these homes. We're going to find out which one has the least amount of issues and problems, and that's going to be your best one for aging in place viability. So yes, we developed this for anyone to use. That's what we thought at first, that let's just put it out there, let a bunch of people use it. But you really have to convince those folks, right? We have to make that market. We have to convince mom and dad that they want to run this assessment, because people, Shane, they live in their homes and they think they're just fine until the day there's an accident, until the day something goes wrong. Then you realize in hindsight, oh, we probably should have addressed that issue and taken care of.
All right, so we're gonna get into some questions, but I'm gonna stop you just for a second, okay?
Yes.
All right. So here's what I've heard. I just want to make sure. Right now, the thought process is, I heard you say something interesting there. We made this where anyone can use it. That's great. That's fine. Accessibility. But then you said this, man, right now we got to convince them to do it. Brother, no business that ever convinced you to eat the hamburger. If you're trying to convince a vegan to eat a hamburger, you ain't going to win, right? Like if you ever hear yourself say that about your business, then the avatar is wrong.
Right.
That is the wrong avatar.
Right.
Okay.
Well, that's so. Listening to you, and when I heard when I heard you on Coast to Coast for the first time, I knew you could help me, because I started, looking into the flip lifestyle and realized, okay, we have to define the avatar that needs the aspirin, not the supplement.
That's exactly right.
So everybody else is the
You're
supplement.
trying to convince people they need it. That's like
right.
trying to convince dad to give you the car keys
That's
when
right.
he can't see the road. He ain't admitting that. Or convince dad, hey, dad, you're going deaf because you got their TV on 67. And he's like, nah, it's fine. Everything's fine. No, dude, it's not. You're not going to do it. You're not going to do it. Right. All right. So let's stop right there. And I'm going to get into fears and obstacles and everything else. But I think I want to talk about the business model itself.
Okay.
A little bit. And also the language that I'm seeing. I'm looking at silverspaces.com right now. And if anybody out there has an aging parent, check it out, silverspaces.com. So first of all of your marketing must target people like me and you. It's the caregiver. It's the person who is trying to get mom and dad fixed and trying to fix them and keep them in their home because they can't get them in the long-term care. Like this should never, ever speak to the person in the home. And now some people will still use it because 10% of people are wise enough to know, I got to figure this out or I'm going to the home. But all of your marketing must be targeted at people between probably 30 and 60 who have parents between 60 and 100, right? That's your marketing. That's the avatar that wants this. Like if I'm sitting here going, man, I really want my mom and dad to stay in their home. I love to be able to go to that home. I don't want to sell it and put them in a home yet. That's who's going to do this, right? The kids. Okay.
Grown
so
children.
that's the very, very first level. Okay. And I think there's probably a huge market for that. But there is no possible way that should be $8.99, bro. Like that assessment has to be at least the price of the monthly membership coming in the gate. Like it has to be. So I promise you people will still pay at $8.99 or whatever. You know what I mean? And also too, I think the promise is not related to the price here. Like if you tell me I'm going to give you a complete recommendation how to remodel a home so your mom and dad can stay there 10 more years, right? I'm not going to believe you're going to do that for $9. That's ridiculous. You're not going to, there's too much disconnect. I would just not buy it because I'd be like, no, I'm going to go find a better solution that looks more valuable. Right. So I think probably maybe that might be $100 to be honest with you. Okay. Like you need to get that price point to match that up so that like now when 80 people buy it, you make $8,000 instead of, $640 or whatever. Right. Okay. Too much development going into this and it's too valuable of a thing and it's a one-off shot. Now, so that's tier one. Tier two are these business professionals, right? Like realtors. I think realtors is probably the laser focus on that because they have the most incentive to buy your thing. Hey, I'll help you sell more houses to people over 50 years of age if you're a subscriber to this app. That's the promise, right? So like that's an easy pitch but if you'll laser in your marketing at that tier on realtors, you can target them easy with Facebook ads and Google ads. You can get them in there and will other people and other things join? Of course. On the sales page, there's a snippet for home inspectors, whatever. But just focus on realtors and tell them you can help them sell more houses. Don't tell them you're going to help grandma stay in her home after she buys it. No, I'm going to help you sell more houses because you're going to be able to say, you can spit out a plan to every single person on how to update the home for mom and dad. Okay. Now, I think you've missed something here, though. That's the most valuable thing of all. Okay. This is a whole different animal. This is a rabbit hole. I'm about to suck you down. We're going into Wonderland here. Okay. Oh. And I only say this because I know people in the Flip Lifestyle community who've done it. I can give you examples of this. This is business in a box, man. This is certification. This is straight Silver Spaces certified. I'll show you. You can go out and you can charge $500 for this service, like a home inspector charges. A building inspector charges $300 to $1,000. You can charge a $300 to $500 fee. You pay me $100 a month to stay certified. I'm going to give you training every month, resources every month. You're going to get access to this software, unlimited reports. So basically, it's like I'll certify you for $1,000, and then you'll pay me $79 a month to keep your certification. You can add marketing support to this. Like, here's resources to share locally on your Facebook page to get jobs. That's a gold mine, dude. The certification in this is a gold mine. Absolute gold mine. Yeah.
That seems to be what the feedback that we're getting. The subscribers that we have right now are occupational therapists. And a couple of them are occupational therapists that have branched out on their own. And they found our assessment, and they're like, it's so much easier than the other assessments that we've run before.
Yes. And like, think about this though. Forget occupational therapists. I'm a contractor. I build decks and stuff. Right. And I'm sitting there going, dang, man, if I could I don't want to jump through all the hoops of being a building inspector or whatever, you know. And of course, there's also, again, you're going to have to research this for legal liability, have your terms and conditions and all that good stuff. But like, anybody can certify anybody to do anything just about it. I don't know what kind of industry this is, right? But you got to look down that rabbit hole and make sure it's legal. But I mean, I would think if I was a guy who was already doing home inspections and I'm only getting 3 or 4 a month, man, I could probably do this and get 3 or 4 more a month, and I'm making an extra $1,500 to $2,000 a month for my family. Right. And like, that is a powerful opportunity, man. You could target building inspectors, target contractors, target bonded people who are doing work in houses already. And like, all of a sudden it's like, hey, you pay me $1,000. I'll show you how to go make an extra $2,000 a month in your business. We'll support you every month. It's $100 a month after your initial $1,000 fee. Just go certify 200 of those people every year. Right. And start and stack. And then if they don't pay their monthly membership, you can't use the Silver Spaces marketing tools. You can't use the Silver Spaces certification, and they just lose it, like, straight up. We have a member. Her name's Rebecca Decker, and she has a website. She's actually in Kentucky too. Okay. She's very close to you, and she has a website called Evidence-Based Birth, and she is a birth professional. She teaches people the latest research on for midwives, nurses, and doulas on safe birthing a baby, choices in birth, all these things. And she certifies evidence-based birth professionals. She has a certification program. They certify, they pay her an annual fee. They have a monthly membership to get resources. Like, you're going to, like, you know, you go live monthly and you talk about what's new, and like, hey, let me show you this new bathtub. Hey, let me show you this new thing. Hey, let me show you the new things we've added to the recommendation engine. You know, that's a gold mine. And all of a sudden now you've got a real 3-headed dragon. It's $100 for a single assessment, but you'll never have to do it again. Realtors, you can join monthly, right? To have unlimited reports. And that pricing between that and the certification is going to have to be interesting. It may be the same a month. It may be something different, right? And then all of a sudden you've got this thing where it's like, you know, $1,000, $997, we'll certify you. You go through it. You set up a test program, and you do 100 of those a year. There's $100,000. All 100 of those pay, you know, $200 a month or $100 a month to be certified. So now you got another $100,000. Then you got your realtors, then you got your people, and all of a sudden you're just like, whoa, gosh, all this is built around this one little Microsoft Excel website, right? Right. I told you we were going down a rabbit hole there. Like, but you're smiling an awful lot. Like, whoa, didn't think about that. Like,
no, we've thought about it,
man. You know what I'm saying?
Not necessarily the full certification. Although one of the partners that's already signed on board with us is Leaders in Lifelong Housing. It's a group in Oregon, and they're working on a home certification program to certify the homes, not to certify individuals.
You could be the industry leader in this space. Like, you've got the best tool, period. You just say it. I've got the best tool. Like, I don't care who you are. This is the best tool on the planet. So then you build the 3 branches of the 3-headed dragon on top of that. You tighten up your marketing. And now you've got, one-offs from the home people, but then that's a funnel. Like, if I'm a guy, and I'm like, I'm a blue collar guy, or maybe I'm an insurance agent, whatever I am. And mom and dad need to do this home assessment. I'm like, sweet, man, I found the solution I need, $99, one time, do it forever. You just say that. Every person that falls into that tier, you're like, hey, have you ever wanted to start your own business? Become a Silver Spaces certified home inspector or whatever, home assessment person. And then, like, that's a funnel. then, because you'll catch 10% of those people like, hey, did you know you could make $2,000, $3,000 extra a month just by helping other people in your community, like your mom and dad? Boom. You got a funnel right there to turn people into Silver Spaces certified home assessors, you know?
Yeah.
And then it's crazy, right? And then the marketing on the real estate side's easy. And then the certification, like I could picture you guys teaching these classes in person and doing all kinds of crazy stuff, man. But I mean, how could you? I can help you start a business that you'll make $2,000 to $3,000 a month with 5 per people a month. Mm-hmm. And I'll give you all the marketing that you need. You'll just have a bunch of ads and stuff they can throw up for themselves. And then, we'll support you every single month to give you ideas on 1, how to market it, and 2, what's new in our home assessment, keep you updated on the tools. I mean, it's just
I think it's great
thing at that point, man, you know?
Yeah. I think that's a great idea. We just got we got a lot of legwork to do to get there. But
what? Okay, so what? Oh, all right. So that you sound like Jocelyn when I give her one of my crazy ideas right now. You know what I'm saying? A little overwhelmed, like what mindset, fears, or challenges do you feel? Like, the old primitive reptilian brains kicking in now. Like, What do you feel right now when you talk about, holy crap, this could actually work at these prices? Like, what does that make you feel?
Let me back up. When I started to go down this path to develop a website, I thought, man, this is going to be a great thing. I'll put the assessment out there. We'll put up a pay gate. People will go through it. Right. And we'll watch the money come in. And then after listening to you, I realized, okay, it's not going to be quite that simple. I have to get on developing the content. We've got to be out there every day, putting something new up.
Yes. At least in the beginning.
Right. So I've started to work on that. And that's really my biggest hang up, is developing this content and realizing I've got to do it myself, that I have to be recording this stuff. I've got to be the face of the company. And
Do you though? Like, I don't know if you do, dude, because like, I think the tool is the face of the company here. Mm-hmm. That's what we're all now. Is there going to have to be someone talking about it, blogging about it, and talking about these issues? Like, man, did you hear about so-and-so that fell and they tripped over their bathtub? Well, if they had just took our assessment, they wouldn't have done it. And, did you hear about the latest in getting up the stairs technology and how you can get Medicare to pay for your whatever? Like, these things are going to have to be talked about, of course. Right. Yes. But I don't think you need a leader, but I don't know if this is like a Shane and Jocelyn brand, right? Mm-hmm. Like, the tool is so powerful. Like, you could outsource some of this content creation. You could definitely get people to write about these topics. There's ghostwriters out there writing about elderly care, guarantee it. It would be cool to have a person who's out in front and showing the passion for the project, like telling that story. My grandma, I wanted her to stay in her home. Mm-hmm. This is what we did. And I've had a construction background. I knew how to do it. And I built this thing to help like, that's important. But it's not like you couldn't always step out of it and have somebody else do that.
Right. And I'm comfortable with getting the ball rolling, right? Sure. And developing that up front. And I've kind of, used some of your terminology in the blueprint. So I'm working on Silver Spaces blueprint now, so that when you come to the site, you don't just see the picture of the lady sitting with her mom, but you see the blueprint, and it's going to take you through it step by step. So I sent you guys the first thing that I developed, the first piece of content that I developed, which is just an introduction to what Silver Spaces is. And then the next piece that I've developed is kind of the introduction to the blueprint. And then I'm going to go through each area of the assessment and just guide people through it step by step and kind of show them the assessment on the front end before they paid for it. Just a quick overview of each of those areas, so that they can click on kitchen. If they want to see how we assess a kitchen, they can click on it and see. Yeah. I don't want to give away too much, because I want people to actually pay for the assessment and get in and use it.
Well, you assess a model home, and you don't let them assess their own home, right? Like, you would have a walkthrough of it, and like, okay, this is a home. This is 1,200 square feet. I'm just going to do the kitchen. But we do everything, right? You show them the main room, and then you forget about it. You know what I'm saying?
Well, right now I'm just doing a screen share.
Yeah, that's all you got to do.
And showing the assessment, walking and talking about the questions while we ask the questions we do. We've tried to really spell that out in the assessment, that the rationale for each question is provided right there with the question. But that's kind of what I'm working on now, developing content on the front end, on the free side. And then on the pay side, we've added a forum, we've added a blog. Dr. Berkey has written about aging in place, and she's presented to the World Health Organization when her initial app came out. I mean, she's done a lot of presentations. She's done a lot of blogging. So we've got content ready to go to the blog. We started the forum trying to get some conversation going. But we know we're also going to have to develop content on the pay side for our members.
I actually think the danger with products like this and memberships like this is the owners of the company get obsessed with the product so much that they forget that the better mousetrap doesn't matter if nobody knows about it, and unless they have an emotional reaction to the mouse. And like when I'm looking at your page here, and what I see is way too technical jargon. Like it's just like this says home assessments for aging in place. That is so industry speak jargon. That needs to say how your mom and dad can stay in their home for 10 more years. Period. That's it. Like that's that. And the language, I'm telling you, your content has to be like, look, I'm just telling you as the truth. This is how marketing works. It's got to show them what can happen if they don't do this.
Agitate.
It's agitate. Like it's, hey, here's Cindy. Her mom broke her hip, this, that, and the other. Like my grandmother, we hadn't heard from her all day one day. We went down there and she had tripped on a rug that was on an old furnace, and the furnace kind of gave way. You know, those old furnaces used to be in the floor, right? They don't do those anymore. But it was one of those, gave way, fell, broke her hip. She was perfect the day before, probably going to be in her home for 10 more years, fell and broke her hip. She lived with my mom and dad for a while. And we had to put her in a nursing home, right? Like that's the case studies that get told, and said, if you had just taken the home assessment and it said, hey, we got to cover up that old furnace, you know, somebody would have thought about that and it would have been done. And now grandma's in her house 10 more years. Like those are that's the content. It's not, oh, let me tell you about the new railing that is good. It's like, or whatever. You know, it's like telling stories like that and how you could have solved that problem for them. And then using language that I'm thinking, the you know, when I go to the doctor, the aspirin analogy is great because I don't go in and say, well, you know, doctor, I took my H2O levels and my hydration was not at the proper levels. And I think that's what's causing the massive contusions or whatever. You know, so you don't say that. You say, my head hurts so bad under my left eyebrow. And like, that's the language of the customer. And like, you guys are using the language that you're having in the boardroom in all of your marketing right now. And that's not going to, like, assessment is not even the right word at this point in the funnel. It's, wait, you can make mom and dad stay there 10 years. Click here to learn more. And then you're like, do this assessment. Like, that's the mentality you got to change into. You've built the product. It's beautiful. Stop trying to improve it. Stop trying to make it better. Let's just market it. Let's just market it. Let's just charge enough for it. And like, that's all you got to do at this point. And you're probably ready to rock. The certification thing too, bro, don't add that now. I'm just saying, like, that is a gold mine that you could add after you've figured out the price of the assessment, $100. I'm telling you, $100, it'll sell. And then after you figured out how to market to these people who might pay monthly, that's something you can add in as a business in a box, and it's invaluable.
Well, and to really provide a full certification and tell someone that they can start a business with it, I'd like for the assessment to get to the point that it has all the things we want to add. Right now, you know, if you check the box that you've got, say, frayed carpet on your steps, right, it's going to populate the report with a recommendation to repair the carpet on the steps. Or if they're wood steps, add grip tape so that they're not slick, so that you can walk up and down them and not worry about a slip fall. Eventually, what we like to add is the specific product, so a link to a product with that recommendation,
dude,
and a price range.
I get it. It's ready to launch. I'm telling you,
we've launched. We're out there.
No, I mean, it's ready. It's ready to go all in on right now. Like, this is not even a minimum viable product, dude. It's ready to go. Like, this is, again, when people create something this amazing. Like, I'm sitting here like in awe of what you've built, dude. Like these tools, and like, I'm like, this is incredible. But like, the danger is that's all you talk about in your staff meetings. All you talk about with your business partner, like, and you just think, how can we make it even better, even better, even better? It's already a market leading tool. It's just not in front of enough people. There's 60 million people that are like of the age group that need this, right? Like, just go tell them. Like, stop thinking about the tool. Now, do you still have R&D? Do you still want to improve? Yes, these are still conversations. But right now, we sell what we've got, right? Like, I want to add, I told you earlier, off air, we're adding this mastermind product, right? I know what I want it to look like 3 years from now. I'm going to have groups of, we're going to have 10 people. I'm providing facilitators. I'm providing accountability coaches. I'm providing all these resources for everybody, right? For this group of people who take these 10 pod masterminds. It's going to be sold at a higher level. It's going to be a higher price, whatever. Dude, I announced it on the member call last week and we ain't even started. And I'm already marketing it as I know it will be on April 28th, 2021. And I'm already talking about what it's going to be in the future. But there is no way I'm going to wait and build that thing before I start selling it, right? Because it's ready. It's ready. I know that it will be ready on April 28th in its form that will be very valuable, and we will make it more valuable as we go. But don't wait, man. Like, get this thing out. Just people need it, dude. You got a mission here.
Absolutely.
Core values of the company is just, we're going to help 1 million moms and dads stay in their homes for 10 more years. That's a great core value mission.
That's what we want to do. Sure.
Yeah, man. So, all right. Awesome. So let's think about this a little bit. I got a couple recommendations, like next 24-hour thing. I think that one, I would have a talk with your partner and be like, hey, I really want to go down the marketing rabbit hole. Like, let's decide that the next 12 weeks of our life is marketing. Right. Okay. I think you should raise that price to $97. I think that if you position the one-off higher than the monthly membership, it'll draw in the realtors for unlimited assessments. It might get some people to sign up for it, and maybe they're going to do this mom and dad this month, next mom and dad that month, and whatever. But $100 for a one-off assessment like this, it's going to give you a detailed report and tell you exactly what to do. That's worth $100, right? And now you only have to sell 1 in 10. I mean, you sold 86. If you sold 8, you'd make the same amount of money, right? Start marketing that now, right? Like, that's a Facebook ad to a $100 product right now, like, period. Then work on the marketing strategy to get those monthly members in of professionals who could already use it, like the realtors. I think that's a great place to start. And just say, how are we going to get 100 realtors to join this before the end of 2021? That'd be awesome. That'd be awesome.
That would be great.
Yeah, man. You'd have a foundation of your business. And the conversations you should have in your products are, how can we certify this as business in the box? I just think that's where the $500,000 business comes from, like, right away. Like, it's only, if you get 250 people to take that, $1,000 to certify, and then 250 people paying $100 a month to stay certified, like, you've got a $250,000 recurring revenue base out of 100 people, right? And that would be sky's the limit at that. Dude, I don't see many memberships like this, man. And, like, I don't say this all the time, and I've talked a lot today, but, like, the market is so big.
Right.
Like, I don't know how Silver Spaces couldn't become an actual, like, I don't see why there wouldn't be 100,000 sales of this. Like, I don't know how you couldn't. It's definitely possible. I'm not saying it's guaranteed, but, like, this seems like a product that could scale widely, very widely.
I think so. We've had some negotiations with some big box stores that found us before we even launched.
Yeah, man.
One of the biggest in the country, and they decided that they weren't ready for us, and we weren't quite ready for them, so we couldn't reach a deal. But there's a lot of interest, and there's a lot of people that are working on parallel tracks with us, trying to develop their own assessment because they see it coming too. So we're not the only ones in the game. We're kind of the first one out there, which is a little bit scary. That's another one of my fears, being the first guy out there with his product.
No. Hey, there's two things you want to be. You want to be first, and you want to be the best marketer. You don't have to have the best product. I tell you that. ClickFunnels, Russell Brunson's might get mad at me if he ever hears this, but ClickFunnels is not the best product on the market for what they do. It is not. It does not do a lot of things well, right? But they're the biggest, and they're the best, and they make the most money because they're the best marketing. They were first. Like, they were the first ones. They weren't the first in the market, but they were the first ones to get the sales part right. And they were the first, and then they had the best marketing, so they won. That's why they're $100 million company. I would get core values going, man. There's a great book called Vivid Vision that you ought to read.
Okay.
I'd write a 3-year vision out for this program. I would really ground this in the mission of, we're going to keep 1 million people in their homes, or 100,000, whatever. We're going to keep 100,000 people in their homes 5 more years than they thought they were going to do. That's our mission, right? And, like, ground that in everyone's language. Like, our marketing has to be great because there's 100,000 people that are about to go in a nursing home that don't have to.
That's right.
And ground that in the mission and really like take this and think big here. This is a big one, man. It's a big one, dude. I'm telling you.
Okay.
Yeah, it's there, man. So,
thank you.
All right. So I probably overwhelmed you and threw a lot of mud on the wall right there, man. But you know what's great? It's not just today. We're talking on this call, man. We got the forums. It's a marathon, not a sprint. We can work through this in the forums. We're going to have 2 Q&As a month where you can come hang out, ask more questions. You got the whole Flip Lifestyle community, like right there for you behind. You got the blueprint. But I do want to narrow it down. I want to ask you what you're going to do this week to get the ball rolling. How are you going to roll up the snowball and roll it down the top of the mountain to make this happen? What do you think your next step is?
Is to meet with my partner and really share this information with her, get her on board with a marketing strategy, a definite marketing strategy, maybe even initially some change in the language to the homepage.
Definitely.
I think that's a move I can make right now because that's some of the stuff that I can do in the background without having to get my developers involved. It's like if I've got to touch anything with the assessment or the engine, the recommendation engine, that's code and that gets beyond my comfort level.
Don't even mess with it.
So yeah, I just need to get in and really get that hook that grabs people right away. So we'll work on that. We're in the process of moving over to a different developer who's actually said very similar to you that we've got to lay out this strategy and the path forward. So it's all spelled out because he just sees that if we really do get the level of attention that we think we can garner, there may be some issues with the functionality of the site because, you can
overwhelm the system very fast.
Yes, we can overwhelm the system very fast. And that's kind of what he's worried about. Like, man, if we just get one of these big customers that we've talked to some really big potential corporate customers that if just one of them signs on board, we could potentially have 800-900 users every day all at once.
100%. 100%.
So
I don't say that all the time, man. Like on these things, like I'm normally looking really realistic at things. But the professionalism that I'm seeing on the website that I'm looking at here, the professionalism I hear from you, and like I hear the work that you put into this. And when I hear what it does, like the result, that's all I really care about. Like, what does this result do? It keeps mom and dad out of the nursing home for 5 more years. Holy crap. How much money is that worth? Right. And like, it's just like, man, the result is so high. There's a business in the box aspect, which is ridiculous. Like when you can make money, the way you can make money with business in a box stuff. I mean, this is a major company waiting to happen. It's just how bad probably do you want it? So,
well, I want it pretty bad. I mean,
I can feel it, baby. I feel you want it. I know it, man. Like, we don't play in Kentucky. We're going for the gold, man. You know what I'm saying? We're going for it. Unless it's basketball. We're pretty bad this year at basketball. But other than that, we're going for the gold, man. Well, listen, Adam, man, I appreciate you, dude. I know this was a deep talk, and sometimes these one-on-one calls can get overwhelming. And I know that it can be a little nerve-wracking too to come and talk about this in public and things like this. And, but man, I know that somebody's going to be listening to this too and realize, hey, couple tweaks, my thing could be great. And I know that we've inspired some people out there and we've helped some people. And just listening into this call, man, I just want to tell you, I appreciate you coming on the show and I appreciate your transparency and everything.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. I appreciate you as well. You and Jocelyn, you guys have an amazing product, an amazing community. I plan to get more involved with it moving forward. And maybe I'll even stop by and see you sometime.
That's right, man. That's right. We'll meet in Lexington. I need to have a Lexington meetup for all the Kentucky Flip Your Lifers out there.
Hey, man, I've got a job in Knoxville next week. I've got to go.
There you go, man. Be passing right through, dude. All right, man.
Right through. Great talking to you. Thank you so much.
All right, guys, that wraps up my discussion with Adam Sears. What an amazing opportunity he has to get out there and really scale and grow an amazing mission-based business. And maybe you have a mission. Maybe you've created a powerful tool you can help other people with. Or maybe you've got an idea for a membership site that could change your family's future. We would love to help you, just like I helped Adam today, inside the Flipped Lifestyle community. The Flipped Lifestyle Blueprint has all the training you need to start, build, launch, and grow your online business. And like Adam said, we specialize in the membership model. All you need is 100 people to pay you $50 a month to make $60,000 a year. All you need are 200 people and you'll make $120,000 a year. There's so much potential out there in the marketplace online right now. All you have to do is build something and go tap into it. We believe everyone has God-given talents and experiences they can use to start, build, and grow a membership website. You can try our program for free over at flippedlifestyle.com/free. Check out everything we have to offer and come try it for 30 days. You'll get access to the training you need. You'll get access to 2 live Q&As that I lead every single month. And of course, you'll have 24-hour a day, 7 days a week access to the Flipped Lifestyle community forums and support desk. That's flippedlifestyle.com/free. Go try it free for 30 days. Start today. All right, guys, super excited because Adam is about to share an amazing Bible verse that is important to him. But I wanted to share a little story with you. We call these can't miss moments. These are opportunities or things that we get to experience in our life because we are online business owners, because we are self-employed, because we control every minute of our life. Opportunities that may have not been possible if we were working normal 9-to-5s. We tell you these can't miss moments to inspire you what's possible for you and your family. Now, we have moments in our company that we call sprints where we're like, hey, we're going to work really hard for about 6 or 7 days, and that's going to batch up everything for the next 6 or 7 weeks. I love batching stuff up and getting it out of the way, but man, it's tiring. It's exhausting sometimes when you have to work a whole lot in a little bit of time. Now, our last sprint came about a week ago, and at the end of the sprint, I had scheduled a weekend workshop. Jocelyn and I love to invest in our education. I hire coaches myself. I buy programs myself because I'm always wanting to learn more to go to the next level. And we got back on Sunday, and we were exhausted. We had 2 12-hour days this workshop, learned so much. Man, it was such an amazing experience. Good friend of ours named Aaron Walker of Iron Sharpens Iron Masterminds. He has a product called the Mastermind Playbook. Highly recommend that product. He's a great mentor of ours. And we got to spend a couple days with him and his team down in Nashville. But Monday, we had to hit the ground running with team meetings, member calls, everything else, raising kids, everything in between. But I pushed through, went a couple more days, and I just finally woke up Wednesday and I said, I'm tired. I'm too tired. I normally have some stuff scheduled on Wednesday, but I'm not going to do anything today. So I just sent a message to my team and I said, clear my schedule. I'm taking the day off. I said, I'm done. And it was just awesome to have the power and control of our life, to not have to ask permission, not have to think about it, not have to really worry about it. We've built a business that allows us to do that. Anytime we need it, if I need a day of rest, I can take that day of rest. If I need to sleep in a little bit, I can sleep in a little bit. I tell my team, no meetings before 10 o'clock, because sometimes my kids stay up late and I need to sleep in a little bit. Right? Drop them off at school, come back and go back to bed for about an hour. And I'm just so grateful and thankful for that opportunity that would not be possible without an online business. And I want to encourage you, if you are wanting to start an online business, if you have days you're tired and you wish you could just be like, hey, I need a day of rest, an online business, a membership website can provide that opportunity for you. Nothing creates can't miss moments like an online business. All right, guys, we are about out of time here on the Flipped Lifestyle Podcast today. But before we go, we love to share a Bible verse at the end of every episode of the Flipped Lifestyle Podcast. Joss and I get a lot of our inspiration and motivation for business and life in the Bible. A lot of great stuff in there to help us all on our journey. And I'm excited today to tell you that Adam is here, and he's going to share a verse that's important to him. So Adam, take it away.
Yes, Proverbs 3, verses 5 through 6. A lot of you may know it, but it's a verse that's been ingrained in me since I was a child, and there's a lot of truth to it. And it's trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not unto your own understanding. Acknowledge him in all your ways, and he will direct your path. And that has been very applicable to me all throughout my life. So know your source and continue to go there.
All right, guys, that is all the time we have for this week. Thank you so much for listening to this podcast. We are so grateful and thankful and appreciate every person out there listening to our podcast. If you have not left us a 5-star review over on Apple Podcasts, go do that. Make sure you subscribe on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to episodes of our show. Those reviews, those subscriptions, even your downloads help us reach more people so that we can accomplish our mission of helping hundreds of thousands of families start, build, and grow online businesses and changing their family's future. Thank you so much for listening. I'll see you next time. Until then, get out there, take action. Do whatever it takes to flip your life. We'll see you then. That coast to coast thing was hilarious. I don't even know how that fell into I don't even know how that happened. Connie reached out to me and was just like, hey, there's a lot of people suffering right now in our audience. And I thought, let's do something different. Let's see if we can help some people.
So,
So
a few nights before you were on like December 27th or something. I was working some very early mornings, right? Because that's a show that's on in the middle of the night.
that's right.
From like
That's right.
1 a.m. to 5 a.m. So I had some early mornings. A couple nights before you came on, I listened to one of their guests was a guy named Mitch Horowitz, and he was speaking about realizing your dreams. And he just talked about a 10-day meditation prayer type thing that you could do to try and manifest something in your life. Said, just write it down, affirm who you are in God, meditate, visualize, pray, even sing, and then just watch for it to happen. Watch for your answers to happen. So I actually wrote that down. I wrote down my affirmation, and I wrote down, God, please provide a clear path forward leading to our most abundant life. Because, we launched back in October and sales have been kind of struggling. And it's like, oh, I thought this thing was going to take off, so I was asking God for that clear direction. Well, the next morning, after I wrote that down, you come on and I'm like, really? A football coach from Kentucky? What's he doing on Coast to Coast? This doesn't even really apply.
Right.
This isn't even a coast to coast topic, really. But here's this guy right down the road from me. He's a defensive minded football coach, just like just right up my alley. I was like, oh, well, that's my sign. That's God already answering.
That's amazing, dude.
That 2 nights into it.
Incredible.
So then I just jumped right in with the Flip Lifestyle community. I was like, I got to learn more about it. And I knew right away, I was like, okay, that's a path forward. That's a way for us to build some community around the assessment.
Yeah.
And get more people in and interested.
One more thing before we go. Thank you so much for listening to the Flip Lifestyle Podcast. If you love the Flip Lifestyle Podcast, if we bring a little joy and a little happiness and we bring some knowledge into your life every single week, could you do us a favor? Go to Apple Podcast and hit subscribe. Download a few of the podcast episodes onto your phone. Apple's algorithm loves seeing downloads and it loves seeing those subscribes. And please leave us an honest review over on Apple Podcast. That'll help us grow the show, expand the mission, and reach more people so that we can help them change their family's future as well. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next time.